You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor. Subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments below. Be sure to smash that like button. An up and down 24 hours for LSU in recruiting. We found out on Thursday that LSU landed a commitment from a three-star tight end in Mason Taylor. And, of course, we're all expecting on Friday evening the commitment from four-star offensive lineman out of Kalahai, Emory Jones, to go LSU's way. But on Friday morning, Ed Ogeron and his staff got a little bit of a bummer. One of the top players, not only in the state of Louisiana, but in the entire country for the class of 2022, five-star safety out of Ponchatoula, Jacoby Mathews, announced that he is no longer a part of LSU's class. He posted on his Instagram and other social media. He wrote, "First off, I want to thank the man above and the entire staff at LSU. To all the Tiger fans and commits, it will forever be love, whether we get there together or battle on Saturdays. After deep consideration, my parents and I have thought a lot through and have decided to decommit from Louisiana State University and reopen my recruitment. Respect it, please, and thank you." So, Jacoby Mathews, five-star safety out of Ponchatoula, has reopened his recruitment. I'll remind you that when Jacoby Mathews committed to LSU, he had a list of 6 finalists, and it was LSU, Florida, Southern Cal, Texas, Arizona State, and Clemson. Those were the 6. Notice no Alabama, no Texas A&M. I was told today, and I don't know if this is public, but this weekend you have a lot of different recruiting events, like Louisiana, LSU has their Boys from the Boot, or what they called their Boys from the Boot weekend. I was told earlier today that Jacoby Mathews is expected to be in College Station Saturday at Texas A&M. Again, not one of the initial schools that were part of his final 6. But apparently Texas A&M and Alabama are very much in the mix right now for Jacoby Mathews. This would be a total bummer if you can't get him back in the boat. Now, certainly it's worth mentioning that you got a long way to go until the December signing period. And Jacoby Mathews in that statement was pretty clear, whether we'd get there together or if we're doing battle against each other on Saturdays, that the door is still open potentially for LSU to get Jacoby Mathews back in the boat. So when you look at the class as a whole, LSU now back down to 15 commitments. They were up to 16 after the Mason Taylor commitment. Now with Jacoby Mathews decommitting, back down to 15. Look, Mathews is a 5-star. He is the number 27 overall prospect in the country, the number 2 safety in the country, and the 3rd best player in Louisiana behind only, of course, Walker Howard and Will Campbell. Will Campbell, the big offensive lineman out of Neville. So that's just super significant because you're talking about a massive prospect here in Jacoby Mathews. I don't mind candidly telling you, and you all know that I'm not the recruiting guy. I'm not out like watching high school film or scouting dudes. That's not really my MO at all. It's just not what I do. But I've been told by some people who do, that scout, that Jacoby Mathews is the best player ever, the best athlete ever out of Ponchatoula. And when you talk about the guys that have come through Tangipahoa Parish, there have been quite a lot of them. And when Hank Tierney has been at Shaw and at West Jeff and now at Ponchatoula, he's seen some dudes come through. And if this is the best athlete ever, you're talking about a major prospect in Jacoby Mathews. So Ed Ogeron and the staff, they got to get him back in the boat. Specifically talking about the safety position, I think LSU's fine because it was such a heavy emphasis this year with signing Sage Ryan and bringing in, signing 3 safeties and, of course, bringing in Major Wright. Major Wright. Ed Ogeron said Major Wright the other day. Major Burns, the transfer from Georgia. So you have numbers at safety. But when you're talking about an elite prospect in state, we talk about it all the time. You got to get the top guys in the state. But not only that, when you do miss out on a guy in state, you want him to go far, far away so you never see him again. It's worth when it's Devontae Smith who goes to Alabama and wins a Heisman and beats you. When it's the late Joe McKnight who leaves Louisiana and goes to Southern Cal and you never see him, it stings and burns less. So Ed Ogeron and his staff can still have work to do here. But I will say specifically with respect to the Jacoby Mathews news, I think what we're seeing here is part of the impact of the new NIL legislation and how it's impacting recruiting. And I don't know that Mathews is going to be the first or is the first. There might be other around the country because I'm not super keyed in on this. But the other day, Moose, give me that cut, would you please, of Ogeron at Rotary when he talked about the NIL. I mean, it was the second one when he was asked the question, because I want you to hear this again for those that didn't hear it on Wednesday. But Ed Ogeron is at the Rotary Club meeting, and he does his speech, and then he gets to the end, and he starts doing Q&A. And in the Q&A portion, someone asked specifically about NIL and what if a group of business owners wanted to get some type of, I think they called it like internship together to be able to pay LSU players through NIL. This was Ed Ogeron's response.
Yes, hey, call Derek Panevsky. All right, Derek's here. Call him, and we want to do it. I'm not joking about it. I'm serious. And if many of you want to give our players money legally, do it. And we would like that done. Yes, sir. Other schools are doing it and bragging about it.
Y'all, think about that comment now with the context of this news about Jacoby Mathews. A lot of people rolled their eyes or were upset when Coach O said that. I threw my hands in the air and praised him. You've got to do that because it's going to matter for kids like Jacoby Mathews. It's going to matter for major prospects. If you have the opportunity to upfront in recruiting talk about NIL and what type of financial incentive they gain by coming. You may not like it. Again, you may sit here dismayed and throw your hands in the air and say this is what's wrong with college athletics. And what I'm here to tell you is this is the thing that's been going on in college athletics forever. It's just now above board, and you better be willing to talk frankly about it, which is why I was pumped to see Ed Ogeron do it. LSU has embraced NIL. They have wrapped their arms around this thing from the beginning, literally from the first day when they released an NIL hype video. But now you got to deliver. You got to have business owners in line that are ready to deliver. And I've told you before that the dollar amounts aren't going to be what many people think they're going to be. Bryce Young getting the deal he did, that's going to be an exclusive club. And it's not going to be only exclusive to an Alabama quarterback. Matt Corral did a deal with Panini for trading cards. He's a guy who could have a blow-up season. You talk about dudes that could be first-round picks, have that type of season. You're going to see companies try to bet on them, bet on the come. So, yeah, you need to be open and embrace this. And maybe that's part of what you can do to entice a guy like Jacoby Mathews to get back in the boat and join LSU. So that's disappointing that you lose Jacoby Mathews from the LSU class of 2022, one of the top not only players in Louisiana, but one of the top players in the country. And he's reopening his recruitment. Again, didn't rule out LSU altogether, but is considering options. And Texas A&M was not among his 6 finalists, but he's expected again to be in College Station this weekend for their version of Boys to the Boot or whatever they call it there, their recruiting weekend. So we'll let you know what happens, but that's a guy who between now and the December signing period, you hope you can get him back in the boat. Now, we did learn that LSU on Thursday got a commitment from a tight end. Really, in another interesting case, it's Mason Taylor, and Mason Taylor is the son of Jason Taylor. Of course, Jason Taylor, longtime Miami Dolphin, great NFL rush end, who this is his youngest son with his first wife, who you might remember Jason Taylor was married to Zach Thomas's sister, his teammate, the linebacker Zach Thomas with the Dolphins. This is their son, Mason. So committed on Thursday, 6'4", 230. He's a 3-star, nationally number 381. He's the 16th best tight end in the country. I'll remind you that this is the second tight end in the class for the class of 2022, as they've already got Jake Johnson committed. Jake Johnson is the third highest rated prospect in the class of 2022 for LSU. I mean, it's Will Campbell, the 5-star. It's Walker Howard, the other 5-star. And then Jake Johnson's the third highest rated prospect in the class. So LSU's got 2 tight ends committed already. Remember, Jalen Shedd was a part of the most recent class, and he is no longer at LSU. So you've got Cole Taylor there. Eric Gilbert transferred out. So you're thin at tight end. Ed Ogeron did say they moved Jack Besh to tight end. They put a little weight on him. That makes a lot of sense. He could be a flex tight end that's really physical at the point of attack and can also catch the ball. But I want to remind you this also. At that same Rotary meeting on Wednesday, Ed Ogeron, when he was running through the offense, did talk about tight end. This is what he said.
Before I got here, a tight end was considered an offensive tackle. Now that was a joke. Now they actually catch the ball. Okay, so we have been recruiting some great tight ends from Lafayette. We've done a great job. Kevin Falk has done a great job of recruiting Lafayette area. Him and Corey Raymond, Jack Betts, a great receiver right there out of St. Thomas More, has gained some weight. We're going to play him at tight end. And watch out for a young man named Jack Mashburn. He's a walk-on from St. Paul's in Covington. I think this guy's going to have a great career for us.
So they're thin, right? I mean, they're moving Jack Besh to tight end, which I think he could do well, but they're thin there, and they need to add numbers. So now they've got 2 tight ends for the class of 2021 in the boat. The other sort of bit of recruiting news to keep an eye on, tonight, Friday night, 6:30 p.m., 4-star offensive lineman out of Catholic High in Baton Rouge, Emory Jones, is going to make his decision, and all signs point to it being LSU and him staying home, and that's just massive. Remember, LSU is going to lose at least 4 offensive linemen, starting offensive linemen from this class. I mean, you're going to lose Deculus and Hines and Ingram and Liam Shanahan. We'll see about Cam Wire, but remember, Wire's been around now for 4 years also. So that's a guy that could leap after that. I mean, you could lose all 5 starters on the offensive line. So you need numbers there. They got Will Campbell. They got Bo Bordelon. And we'll see tonight they should get Emory Jones committed as well. But they can't be done recruiting the offensive line. But a big decision tonight coming from Emory Jones. See if Ed Ogeron and the crew can keep the 4-star from Baton Rouge in Baton Rouge. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.